DOB Fuel Quest for cigarettes. Yo, what's up? It's someone that's a known one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report is coming from Lint. Shouts out to Lint. Appreciate this report, bro. Where they took DOB, Salvia 40x extract, alcohol, tobacco, and cannabis. And here's the full report details. Alright, here we are getting into a DOB trip report, but with some salvia in the mix this time. This is the first time we're covering this, but we have covered other related substances like DOI and DOC a handful of times now. Basically, these are known for being a type of psychedelic amphetamine research chemical. It was synthesized by Alexander Shulgin back in the day, and throughout time, it's gained some traction and popularity, but really for the most part, it has been an underground kind of thing. Still tabs have, and still will come up, as shown here in this report that was just last November. Lynn and a friend both take a pretty strong dose of it, and of all things, decided to smoke some leftover salvia. Then of course they have alcohol, tobacco, and cannabis at some point in the trip. It's pretty interesting, and one I'm sure you'll enjoy. So without further ado, let's dive right into this. I got 100.75mg tabs of DOB from the deep web, and was waiting for the end of the work week to try them out with my friend, who we'll call Frank for anonymity's sake. So once I got home from work, I decided to drop one tab while I waited for Frank to finish what he was doing and come over. Within about 2 hours, I was feeling some calm, clear-headed stimulation with mild psychedelic visuals similar to LSA. But around then, Frank pulled up, so I decided to drop another tab and give him two. We cracked open some beers that he brought, and started to walk around my neighborhood. That got boring pretty quick, so we decided to look for someone to bum cigarettes from, as we're 19 and can't get our own. So the first guy we saw smoking we asked, and he declined. Then he tried to recruit us into the Marines, LOL. But at this point, Frank was pretty bored, so I suggested we spark up the last bit of my salvia extract to pass the time, and he was down. We didn't have enough to pack 2 bowls, so we just decided we would take a hit, then pass me the bowl and torch quick for me to take mine. I was already high off the DOB when I took my hit, and the salvia had the expected effects of making me feel like I'm being pulled and stretched out, then strengthening the DOB visuals, which seemed to persist for a couple more minutes after the obvious effects wore off. But after we finished the salvia, we decided to go out and look for free cigarettes again. We ended up meeting a Haitian guy who was willing to trade 2 cigarettes for one of our beers, and we smoked them and talked to him for a bit. We then got a text from one of our coworkers to come hang out, so we got an Uber over to his house and hopped in his car. We were going to a dispensary to get weed, and I asked him to take my card and grab something for us to smoke. I accidentally told him to buy 3 ounces of weed instead of 3 grams, and he was confused, which was pretty embarrassing, LOL. But after that, we got our weed, and he went to meet his girlfriend. By this point, I was peaking on the DOB with psychedelic visuals, the expected stimulation, and a constant physical tremor that was strangely comfortable. But Frank wanted another tab, and while technically a safe dose, I was scared he would tweak out. I reluctantly gave it to him anyway. Then we went home. I spent the rest of my trip inside playing games and listening to music. I texted him to make sure he was still good, and he was. Despite being on an amphetamine-based drug, neither of us had any problem sleeping, and my mood was a bit better the next day.